Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Shenanigans.
Sup?
All right. So the six of you are about to roll initiative as the web spell and magical fairies have appeared out of nowhere against these orcs. Four of them, they're webbed. I'm not even going to have saving throws for them. But the rest of you roll initiative as the three on the other side stretch their arrows taut and are ready to pull. And the lead orc begins barking behind him.
How close are the three
Barking?
on the other side?
Yes, orcs bark. That's my. He's talking in orcish.
How close are the three on that side?
If the river's 100 feet, let's say you're in the middle of it, so 50.
No, like how grouped?
They're pretty close together. They're maybe if it was on a grid, they're like 5 and 5 and 5.
That sucks.
Alrighty, so
Let me see.
we have Nana
The
at
spell
12,
casters.
the Rock at 5, Zen at 11,
If you can't tell, Artie's about to cast a spell,
Maximus.
he says as he begins chanting words to something.
Good job, Artie. Way to
Rob,
tell
do you
me.
have an initiative?
Yeah, I was just looking at the time on the spell.
Okay, sure thing.
There we go.
And 7. Okay, so perfect. The first to go is the Rock. What are you doing?
Because I never actually said I'm gonna replace it, I've still got 2 halves of my once glorious rock from last session, and so I'm just gonna throw them at the dudes.
Okay.
just gonna throw a rock at them.
Yeah. How big is this rock you're chucking at him?
So it used to be 10 pounds, but now it's probably like 5.
Okay.
Or the 2 halves are probably like 5 each.
Okay. Solid. I'll take that. Yeah. Wind up and chuck at these creatures.
Yeah. It is the medium range, so what's the modifier on that?
Medium range, I believe, is -2.
-2? Cool.
14. So oddly enough, you would think this is exactly what you throw this rock. It sings through the air. It even whistles. It's got that perfect like whistling sound. It's coming right for their head. These things are like so twitchy. They just like see it coming at the last moment and just woof out of the way. And your rock just slams into a tree behind them, giving a nice
no.
loud crack.
Guys, they've got the crack defense. There's only one way to get them.
Jack or Jill or Lasombra, what are you doing?
So they're already webbed on one side.
4 of them are webbed. They're in the middle of like being confused and webbed. 3 of them have bows.
All right, I cast sleep on those 3.
Oh, okay. A roll hit dice of creatures.
Yeah, charm. Two D4 hit die. Okay.
Yes. I'm sorry. I didn't realize that was a question. Yeah, it's 2d4. All right. Those 3 with bows in hand kind of and just collapse in sleep. So that is your turn. Before anything else can happen, you can hear this orc that was up on the dam barking in Orcish, and he says, "Get the landing boats! Get the landing boats!" And a team of orcs move these boats around this dam and begin racing them up towards you. There are 2 boats that have 3 orcs each, and they row up to get right up next to you guys. But that is the entirety of their turn. Zen, you go next.
Artie?
Artie, I'm sorry, Artie goes next.
All right.
I lost you on my
So
initiative.
there are 6 new additional orcs that enter the scene, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, how far away is the orc that's on the dam?
We'll just for sake of ease, we'll just say everything's like 50 feet.
Okay, so I've got range of 40 yards on Sunscorch. So I will point at the orc on the dam, and as long as it is a sunny day, I'm not sure if it is or not, or already doesn't pay attention.
We established that it is indeed a very sunny day.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I have a 25% chance of spell failure, so I'm going to roll
Please roll
that now. Yes! All right, I call down a Sunscorch on this sucker. I create a brilliant ray of scorching heat that slants down from the sky to strike one target. The victim is entitled to saving throw over a spell to avoid the ray. A successful save indicates that it missed altogether.
Okay, interesting. So let us see if he saves. He does not.
All right, any creature struck by the ray sustains D6 points of damage plus 1 per caster level. So D6 plus 3, I think.
All right.
I don't think it's D6 plus 1 per level. I think it's D6 plus 3.
So 5. So this ray of scorching light descends from the heavens. They open up. You hear the hymnal praise of your rock gnome people. As the sun ray hits this thing, it erupts in flame. It's like the fur on this orc just is burning. You can smell burnt flesh waft across the dam. It screams in agony and turns eyes just blood red, full of rage, and still alive, though looking rather shitty.
If he's undead, he takes extra damage, and in addition to staying damage, living victims are blinded for D4 rounds, but I don't think I should know how long that is.
Okay,
Does he fall in the water being blinded?
Roll that. Yep, sounds good. Which brings us to Zen.
All right. So how close are the two boats, both full of orcs?
They have
To each
rolled
other.
up right next to y'all.
To each other.
They're basically within 5 feet of you.
Right, but they're pretty close to each other, right?
Yeah, we'll call them like the width of your boat apart from each other.
Okay. Well. Three of them, I imagine, go to sleep.
Oh, okay. You cast sleep? Yes. Do you want it all on one boat?
Yeah.
All right. So these boats they come roaring up, and you cast you wiggle your magic fingers, and in mid row they just and their boat coasts up to you with 3 sleeping orcs on them.
Right.
Maximilian and Nana, you are going concurrently.
Maximilian.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually change my action, so that puts me at the end of the round. I'm gonna cast Color Spray instead of Mirror Image.
Okay, you're gonna color spray. You go, you spray out your colors of dancing lights. Please roll for number of creatures you affect.
Right, that's on the other boat, though. 3 on the other boat. I'm gonna roll for that. D6. Affect all 3 of those.
Yeah, so all 3 of them just immediately go down, and they lose consciousness mid rowing, and so we have unconscious creatures everywhere, webbed creatures, and a burned up leader looking very, very, very perturbed. Nana, what are you doing?
I'm putting the leader out of his misery.
All right.
Arrow. Yeah.
Okay, well, he has the twitchy crack defense, as was mentioned before, but
He's
unfortunately
blind.
for him, his crack defense does not activate quick enough, and your arrow strikes him full in the chest.
Also,
Booyah.
also he is blind, so
He is blind. That should help something.
Yes. It still hits just as much with him blind. And with that, he is dropped. Arrow strikes him full in the chest. Blood sprays in an anime style. You can see this clear spray, and he just topples face first into the water. The bows are stuck in the web. Everyone else is asleep, at least for a few rounds. We'll just. Do you want to re-roll initiative, or you just want to stay in initiative order until something wakes up?
can we just start slitting the throats of the guys who are?
I
on
want to
the
tie them
boats?
up and find out what's going on.
Yeah, let's not
We
kill
have-
all of them.
All right, we'll leave one where we don't, but you know.
I'm not gonna murder helpless people.
They're orcs.
Russ.
I will.
They may be
So-
orcs, but
They're
they are
orcs,
still
just
of
like
this world.
forests.
Yeah. What's wrong with you?
they were trying to kill us. How about that?
Everyone makes mistakes, haven't you?
They seemed pretty.
I've made a few.
They seemed well, I mean, you always make mistakes, Artie.
Well, it's their nature to be like this, so I think it's a mistake to leave them alive.
Who hasn't tried to kill us?
Come now.
Fair.
Learn to forgive and forget.
Well, I mean, I forget things anyway, but forgiveness for this, I mean, they're already cracked up to begin with. I mean,
All right. We don't have
Yeah.
much time. Either we kill them now or.
Yeah, I start.
how about we leave the webbed ones? They're still alive, and we just sink these 2 boats so they can't hurt us or anyone else that passes through here. Because if they try to stop us,
Let's just hurry and tie up the sleeping ones. Let's do that quickly. I start to do that.
Okay. Well, the
Alright.
sleeping ones I think are going to be out for quite a while. And the webbed ones?
just leave them. They'll be fine. They'll be able to get their friends or something like that.
2d4 rounds for color spray.
Mm-hmm. I have the rounds for color spray down. I'm looking up web.
Oh, web lasts a while.
Yeah, it looks like they're just webbed for as long as you do. The ones that you're worried about are probably the ones that are color sprayed.
Yeah, those are the only. Web lasts 2 turns per level. They're like that way for like 80 minutes.
Yep.
So.
Okay, so the color sprayed ones, are we going to just kill them or?
Tie up the colored spray ones, talk to them, and then we decide whether or not to slaughter the rest.
Oh yeah, good point.
I'm tying up the sleepers.
The sleepers are going to be out for like 40 minutes.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, we have time to talk to the ones that I color sprayed. And then if
Yeah.
they are all so naughty, we just kill them all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright.
Sleep is only 5 rounds per level, so 10 rounds.
It's a long
Maybe the
time to be
ones-
asleep.
Maybe the ones you sleep. Mine are out for like 20 minutes then.
Oh.
I mean, I can't fault him. He probably has more total experience than I do. It's just that he has 3 different classes.
Yeah.
How do I handle those classes?
Can we make sure that we keep at least one alive?
Yeah, we're keeping the
That
color
would be
spray ones
wise.
alive
Good,
just
good,
to
good.
talk with
Yeah,
them.
we got 3 live ones we can talk to right now. Okay, so we wait until the color sprayed ones are gonna wake up.
You tied up the colored spray ones?
Yep.
Okay. You take out some rope, you tie them up. They wake up after a little while, groggily. You can see as you tie these people up, they're even unconscious. They're like unconsciously shaking, and there's this like jitteriness to them, even as orcs. When they wake up, their eyes are red, blood red, as if they're just completely bloodshot. They begin sniffing a lot, and are just kind of staring up at you. They can't really move as you've bound them, but they growl a little bit.
Yeah, so I just start, interrogating him and Orc and just being like, what's going on? Why are y'all so twitchy?
We need the dust. We need dust.
We don't
You
have
have
any
it. You're from the
dust.
city. Give it.
We don't have any dust.
What's he saying?
Lies.
Is this
Lies like
fairy
city-
dust
like city folk.
blue?
I can't. I'm sorry. What did you say?
Is this fairy dust blue?
Says, no, it's white.
Oh.
So you guys are just addicted to fairy dust.
I can stop anytime I want, but don't hold out on me.
Right. It violently addicted to fairy dust, just going to cause trouble for everyone around you.
Where do you get your fairy dust?
What are they saying? Why
Say
won't
so.
someone translate? I can't wait.
They say they were trying to rescue their god from the hands of the unbelievers.
Oh
God.
Oh.
No, I immediately go, no, they're not, Jill. Shut up.
Are you sure?
What are they saying?
They're fairy dust addicts.
Oh,
Oh,
told you, crack
get
the
rid of
fence.
this fairy dust.
Is that a thing? You can get addicted to that stuff?
Oh yeah.
Max, why don't you try?
No thanks.
Oh, why not? What could possibly go wrong?
Well, you can have some illusionary fairy dust.
Actually, might work.
All right. Well,
Where did you get your fairy dust?
There were people in weird masks. They gave it to us. After that, we stole it from the city folk like you. I'll take yours. Just untie me. I'll rip your head off and I'll take it from you.
So you were attacking us for
I
exposition.
stab him. I stab that guy.
The great god exposition is very strange and works in mysterious ways.
He tells us
I
everything. we
immediately
don't
stab
know.
the one that says he's going to kill us.
Well, guys, I feel we've certainly been introduced to a conflict.
Maybe just a little bit.
Greg?
Yes?
Greg.
Yes?
I immediately stab the one that says he's going to kill us.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You I mean, he's tied up and restrained and at your mercy. You intend to kill him? Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
He's
No, I'll just
he's
kill that
like,
one.
I'll rip your head off, and you just and just
Nice.
bleeds out.
Artie, not knowing what transpired, goes, "What? What did you do?"
I immediately say, in common, he says he was going to kill us.
Well, who gives a shit? He was tied up. He couldn't follow through with it. You make me so angry I can't rhyme.
Yeah,
fair.
that's the reason.
I can't rhyme anyway.
We established the freaking crack addicts. Fairy dust addicts. I mean,
They need our help. These poor creatures.
Maybe we have to find the ones.
The
that
citizens have been masked, have been releasing fairy dust into the inner forest for quite a while to fund their shenanigans in Nicaraguandia.
And the appropriate response is to murder this poor, hapless creature. It's a health problem, not a crime problem. You can't just execute people and get them to stop consuming fairy
He was
dust.
mugging us.
He needs our
He was
forgiveness.
mugging us.
it was self-defense. Stand your ground, Artie.
He was unconscious. It wasn't self-defense. He was tied up.
He was not unconscious. He was definitely yelling.
But he was tied. He was unable to. Here,
Okay,
let me play you a song on my tuba
stabbed
that
the next
shows
one.
you how to better get along with the people around you.
I start looting the body.
Cuba.
It's a little hard to do with him tied up, Max.
As soon as he starts his tuba thing,
Artie, you're
as
gonna
soon as
stop
he
that
starts
now,
doing his
or you're
tuba
gonna
thing, I
be
stab the
tubas
next
too.
one.
You stab the next. Okay, so
Stop
Artie
that.
starts playing a song on his tuba to try to calm. Max begins trying to get in there and loot the stabbed orc, and you come up to the next one and just stab it to death.
Artie plays faster.
Tuba
I
intensifies.
move even faster towards the next one.
I go and to block Zen. I'm like, hey, stop that. We're not just killing tied up people.
Nah, but they do.
There are two dead tied up ones. The last orc seems very panicked. Its eyes are wide and it's grunting and trying to get away from Max's nimble fingers as he slips in between the ropes trying to loot it. Zen and Jack or Jill or Lasombra are squaring off.
Alright, so the ones in the web still just stuck there struggling.
You try to stop their struggling? How do you do that?
No, are they just still in the web struggling?
Yeah, that web's a
Are they
a
still
lot
just
of web.
struggling?
Yeah, they're struggling through the web. They're
Okay,
very weak.
Okay. Alright, well, now we know the masked people aren't to be trusted, and these guys are just gonna be addicted and keep causing trouble. So
Yeah, I agree. We should get rid of those orcs. Like, who even wants to have orcs live, right?
We
I mean-
just did a whole episode. We were helping an orc to get his groove back.
Yeah, but he wasn't running around cracked up to tomorrow and back trying to kill people. I mean, sure, he may have talked about ripping things limb from limb, but he wasn't actively ripping people.
We got the clock.
We run around killing people, and we don't have any excuse of being cracked up.
9 out of 10 times they have it coming.
9 out of 10.
I mean, the drug dealer, that one
Yeah.
was a little sketchy.
We made mess, right?
he wasn't there for that. Don't tell him that.
I was there for that.
No, you
No,
weren't.
you weren't.
You were off in the woods.
Remember, you were off trying to find a cat, only to have Neal
I can do
say,
that twice, I think. To 2 different people.
All right, what are we gonna
Jill
do
was
with
not out of
No,
with us
no,
when
we
we bought
just-
drugs. There we go.
Right.
Okay, so the orcs that are sleeping, what are we gonna do with them? Are we gonna just leave them?
Sure.
I'll
Let's
throw him
move
in a boat, see what happens. Leave him tied up. His buddy's over there can save him.
All right, but if we're going to go back, we're probably gonna meet them again, and we have to probably deal with them again.
Well, let's take all their
Once we
weapons.
All right, fine. Let's take
Hey,
their weapons.
then we
throw 'em
get
in
2
the
times
river.
experience for killing him.
It's not how it works, and you know it.
But it can be.
All right, so you tie up the sleeping orcs on the boat next to you. Do you go over to shore to tie up those 3?
Well, no, because they're stuck in the web.
There's
Yep.
4 stuck in a web. There's 3 asleep on the
No,
shore.
there's
There's
4 in the web.
boats. There's 2 dead ones, and there's 1 recently color sprayed one that is quite panicked but tied up. Max, you spend some time digging through the ropes trying to get as much loot off of these as you can. And you find a small handful of coins. You find 6 bronze and 2 silver pieces. But you do find, tucked away in one of the boots, a small leather bag tied with a cord. It seems to have maybe an ounce or so of weight to it.
Let me guess. Dust.
Yeah, you feel the bag, and it does have a very sand-like quality to it.
Who wants a
All right,
sniffer?
if I see that he found...
the orcs want this? Sniffy sniff?
My
Artie
parents.
shakes his head and looks at you in grave disappointment.
I saw my parents do this before, I was orphaned. This stuff looked like it was a really good party fuel.
I mean, Artie,
I start looting the ones on shore, looking for more dust.
Okay, so you pull up your anchor and you row the boat over to the ones on shore. We make your way over there. Oh no, the boat that rowed up to you is what you mean. Yes, you begin looting those 3. You find a small pittance of coins. On these ones you find 4 copper pieces and 1 silver piece. Unfortunately, these 3 do not have any dust.
You mean,
Alright, then
fortunately.
I take their small boat that they're tied up on, and then I row to shore and search 3 that are slept over there.
Okay. Those have, in fact, 2 gold pieces and 24 copper pieces in their pouches. And one of them you do notice has a small side pouch. And you find a similar baggie to the one that Maximilian pulled out of the boot.
Alright, and
Let's-
then
let's-
since I'm on shore, I go take a look at the dam, see if I can find any sort of way it can be dislodged.
It does look as if you walk around this thing, and on the back side, it does look as if the orcs had set up some kind of leverage here. They have a large metal rod that they have logged into it. You feel like if you, with sufficient strength or perhaps a vicious dunking, you might be able to use this rod to leverage the logs out of the river.
Did I hear dunking? Let's dunk the logs out. I don't know how dunking the logs out of the river works.
You know what?
What?
I'm not quite sure what to do.
Well, let's take
I'd
one of the
say
canoes to be our lifeboat, and the other canoe we can pile the orcs into it, still tied up, send them down the river, and let the river gods decide what they will do after we take their weapons.
All right. Throw their weapons overboard, see what happens.
All right. But what I'm saying is, I think we should go back up to row our boat back up to where the river is actually, safe and not like pooling into this thing. Then just walk down and then try to break the dam so our boat doesn't just get swept away from us.
So you want us to row our boat gently up the stream?
Yeah.
I mean, we're anchored down right now. I wouldn't
Yes,
imagine
I do.
it start moving.
See, that's why he's the nerd. Because he thinks of stuff like that.
It might be anchored down, but I can't imagine it going well tugging against the anchor with all the water being released from the dam.
Well, is the dam just sort of blocking the boats? And I mean, it doesn't sound like this is, the Hoover Dam. It sounds like they've just kind of blocked things.
It's very slipshod, yeah. It's blocking the run of the river, basically from there where Chester Creek, Wiki Run come down in the Berg River from the mountain here. As it kind of all comes together, they've thrown down a bunch of logs
But I mean, is it like actually stopping the flow of the water? Like if you just want to stop
pooling
boats,
up the river, I would say it's stopping like 70-80% of it, but there's still a trickle going back the other way, right?
Okay.
It's not blocking the entirety of it.
okay, because I assume if they were just trying to stop boats, they would just if you just fell a tree across there, it'd stop a boat. But
it's a bit more aggressive than that, right? They meant to slow down the river, make it kind of like a dam, like a little bit of lake here. And that's kind of what they've accomplished. They've overflowed the sides of the river, and they've dropped a number of logs into place here. But it's not a dam. It'll eventually wash away.
Why don't we just beach our boat?
Sounds like a good idea.
Because then if the water drops, we're gonna have our boat like way far away from the river.
And who do you think
We have the rock.
And who do you think's going to have to do the most?
We can portage the boat.
The rock will just pick up the boat and take a walk, and we'll be back in the river, and we'll be on to the area where we can destroy our liver with plenty of drink.
Now,
And,
how big is
what do you think?
how big is the actual boat? Like, is
Pretty
it
big.
feasible
It has a
that
carrying
we could
capacity of
move it?
2,000 pounds, right? So it's probably on order of something similar.
It's probably
Right.
pretty freaking heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so probably don't want to beach it and then drop the water level to where it's completely beached. So I say row back up the river, anchor it into a place that isn't going to have a massive water rushing out from under it and pulling on the anchor, and then we just try to release the dam.
How wide is the river?
When it's all pooled up like it is right now, we've established 100 feet. We'll at the point of convergence, we'll say it's normally like 75 or 70.
That's a lot.
And there's trees on the riverbank, especially now that it's expanded a little bit.
Yes.
What if we just get a couple of ropes, tie it to trees, even one tree on each side of the river?
Do we have ropes? Don't get up your
Well, yeah,
hopes.
we're
We
adventurers.
don't have
We always
ropes.
have ropes. Adventurers always have ropes.
You've been using a lot of ropes, so I assume that either the boat came with them or you have them on your character sheets.
Boat's going to come with a butt ton of rope.
Yeah, boats typically have a lot of rope. That's why I didn't even bring it up when you were tying people up.
Yeah, plus every character has rope on their character sheet. That's just a
Every
thing you
character has rope.
You do not have rope, Artie? I thought you were supposed to be the resident Smarty.
I have a sling and bullets, clothes and a club, a poor quality tuba.
Not having rope seems like something of a flub.
Fine, I won't tell you what I have. Go ahead. Go off, you nav.
I mean, we can always find out.
So rude.
All right, right.
Yeah, what's up with that dude?
Let's start dunking those logs away. I think then you're overreacting with all this water. Come on.
Fine. I didn't buy the boat. Go ahead.
Well, it's tied to the to a tree on either side of the river, and that should hold us still.
See, if we had a ballista, we could just shoot it. The dam.
That's true. I think the ballista would more than have paid for itself at this point.
I mean, shoot the orcs, yeah, for sure.
All right. Fine.
Okay, so what's the plan? You're going to tie ropes to trees on either side of the river, and then you're going to have Rock swim up and dunk on this metal release rod?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you tie the boat as best you can either side. Rock, you swim up to this rod. You see on the backside of the dam, these orcs have put a rod in for leverage, and you think this is prime, like jump up and dunk on this real estate.
Oh, how convenient. Let's dunk.
Yes, you do so. You jump up. You give it the best Shaquille O'Neal in your arsenal. Put all of your weight behind it. And you have just enough leverage that the dam does, in fact, break, and the water rushes through past you, carrying the logs with it.
Yeah, I'm gonna
have you a dexterity check as you're on the backside of this whole endeavor.
Here it comes. Oh, sweet.
Oh, my
Oh,
goodness.
yeah.
You are so good at dunking that you know the perfect amount of swing to get on your trajectory, and as this leverage breaks, you catapult yourself past the logs as they rush past you. You take a few running steps and you make it to shore before the full force of the river just comes sweeping past you. And this entire blocked up area begins rushing down the river once more. And the Bergmire the overflow begins to drain back down. Your boat, the ropes hold, and it sloughs back into the center of the river. And you're still tied in place where you had it. Now blockage free.
Now we can
done.
Oh, it would have been much more faster this way if we would have ride with the flow.
Well, here we
Eventually,
are.
when they come and pick me back up, because I'm not about to be swimming in a river.
We have a new lifeboat that we can use for that.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm like, hey Zen, isn't all that water like suddenly flowing down the river bad?
I mean, like
Anything
flooding
in the
settlements
river,
that are down the river.
probably.
Alright. We'll just say Jill did it. That'll fix it.
All right. So you untie your boat. You send the life raft after Rock and bring him back in. Sadly, the canoe, the other canoe that was not your life raft with the people on it, is washed away somewhere. We don't know where they are.
Oh,
It was Jill's idea.
The web is held, and we still have 4 orcs in like piteous outrage in the web as you continue on down the river.
Have they screamed any insults at me?
Huh? Oh,
Have they screamed any
yeah,
insults?
as many as they possibly could. These are salty-mouthed orc sailors that are addicted on crack, that are stuck in a web and have been struggling for nigh 40 minutes to unweb themselves.
Hey, Zen, I think you should. You look like you need to blow off some steam. You want to borrow my +3 sling?
Let's just go on down the river.
You guys, as this is being said, the voices of their yelling and taunting and insults fade from hearing range, and you continue down the river, once again making brilliant time in your shiny new keel boat. You soon get to the conversion of the Swamp Wash and the Berg River. You row and turn your boat with its rudder as best you can. You make it to the swamp wash, and you make it all the way into the deep wood swamp. Once you make it to the swamp, it is now become too shallow for your keel boat to continue, and it will grind to beach itself onto the swamp water itself. It's just like this low, mucky, murky, half ground, half water kind of level.
Is that at the
aren't keel boats like pretty shallow in draft?
This is like a quarter inch or to like a half a foot of water. It's really not enough to put a boat on.
We are up the swamp wash at the
you're
swamp.
like right here, Neal.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So is it shallow enough where you can walk on the swamp?
Yes, 100%. The mud sucks at your feet as you walk, and there's a little bit of water that rides up, and it fluctuates based on where you are. Sometimes it barely gets a quarter of an inch above your up your boots. Sometimes it's like to the midway point of your calf. On Artie it gets up a little higher, but what can you do? He's used to it.
I mean, I guess Artie can ride on the rock.
No.
At its deepest, he still doesn't get a swampy crotch, so it's all good.
No. He doesn't get to.
No?
Nope.
Wow.
So, you've made it to the Deepwood Swamp. You've been told that the thing is in the center of it? What is your plan? You're just marching through?
And
who's got
is there a road here? Does anybody actually go to Mass?
Well, all we need is a map, and then we just find a center, and then we go that way.
From this point in the Swamp Wash River, go ahead and make a perception check for me to see if you can find a road.
Gee, we could really use a ranger right now to lead us the right.
Okay. So, Zen, you look around, and
Yes.
Artie does as well.
Yes.
You see all of you, except for Jack or Jill and or La Sombra. And yeah, all of you look around, and you realize that there's no formal road here. There's no county or country road that's nice and safe across this. But it does seem as if there is a kind of path that has been very clearly traveled, leading from the swamp wash deeper into the swamp. It is beaten down with you can see these ferns as they go through it, and there's kind of like loose gravel that has been packed into these steps. There's this kind of narrow, maybe 3 to 5 foot wide path. And it doesn't go straight, it kind of snakes, but it leads vaguely westward into the depth of the swamp.
I guess we followed the path.
I have a message from the gods. Now, I know that may seem a bit strange, or maybe even at odds, but my goddess has spoken to me. And this is something that you must all heed. You see this road that is not even quite a country road?
Yeah.
Do you see over there where there is that little toad?
I mean, it's straight up right there. I mean, you can tell because all the plants are like all big, and then they're not.
We
the
cannot
toad
go
that
wrong.
Looks like somebody has licked that toad.
We cannot go wrong.
If we follow
Because-
the yellow licked toad.
No, we cannot go wrong because this path will make the greatest country song. It's not even a real road, and it's near a swamp. This would make the greatest country song. Unfortunately, I have no ability to create these things, but I can inspire you to do so. And Artie will use his clerical... He's probably got some sort of clerical power to inspire people, but he's going to try and inspire everyone in the party to come up with the best country song inspired by this path as possible.
All right.
I think we should follow that yellow licked toad.
I mean, you can do that, Jill. I think the rest of us see the path.
Perhaps that's the name of the great country song. The
Someone,
yellow licked toad.
I've tried to inspire somebody to write a country song based on this not
All right.
even quite a road.
Okay, I'll make a charisma check to see if I can possibly come up with a song.
Sure.
Oh, close but no
Would you
cigar.
like to regale us with a song? Perhaps it will take the place of your charisma roll.
No.
All right, so Artie, you open your heart to the holy light of creativity and art, and you feel it race through you, and it briefly jumps out, and you get really excited as Zen begins humming and tapping his foot, and then slowly begins mumbling, and it doesn't quite turn out right, and the country song fades from his lips. Zen, you almost blink and then don't, as you
now. Whoa.
the feeling of creation leaves you.
It is out of the power of the DM to tell when or not to Zen blinks.
I said you almost blinked. I didn't say you did.
It's more of a squint.
Yeah. All right. So you begin.
I'll make up a song. I'll do that to make Artie happy.
Sure.
Something about swampy. Take me home, swampy path to Deadwood Swamp where I belong.
Very nice.
Or something. Yeah.
Very nice. Yes. Take me home, swampy path. Rings out through the trees. Just as the creativity spark leaves Zen, it enters Jill, and Take Me Home Country Path or Swampy Path begins blaring out through the trees. You all are picked up and inspired as you begin marching down the gravel road. So much so that a strange lizard folk comes slithering out on its hind legs and stares at you as you pass and begins humming along Take Me Home Swampy Road. And you notice his eyes twitching red and a little crazy, but his seems to be soothed by your singing as you pass by him. Doing so, you manage to walk about 20-30 minutes, and you wind your way through the marshy swamp. Fortunately, the path prevents a lot of the trouble of the swamp from reaching you and finding you. And you
I still check for leeches. Still check for leeches constantly.
Yeah, absolutely. You're on the lookout for leeches, and you are very careful not to get in any standing water that might have leeches in it. You're very careful to check any brushes or ferns that pass your way. You see a few, you bat them away with a stick, and keep on walking. But fortunately, the gravel path stays fairly high. The water doesn't come over the top of it the way it does the rest of the marshy swamp. And it seems to lead away from any trouble outside of this one lizard man that you've soothed with your singing. And about 30-40 minutes of marching past through this muggy, just humid swamp. And you reach the center of the swamp. And you see rising in front of you a small town, maybe even city size. It has low 5-foot walls that circle it. With no entrance save one, where there is a large kind of stone building worked into the walls with an open archway. Written above the arch in the common tongue, along with many other tongues scratched around it, are the words, "All those who enter must play their parts." You can see into the city from over the top of these kind of low 5-foot walls. And you see a large kind of flat city of one-story kind of stone buildings. The architecture is odd. It kind of makes you think of fronds in a pond as they stick out. And in the very center of it is a large, what would have been standing stone, maybe 20 feet high. It's taller than the rest of the city. But it seems to have been carved into the visage of a great featureless face as it stares up through the center of the swamp. And the path that you are walking kind of straightens out and leads directly to this entry building.
Did you say the walls were 5 feet high?
The walls, yeah, 5.5 feet high. They're like a tall person would look right over them.
Okay.
So it's just saying that I could just straight up jump over them.
So what you're saying is Artie doesn't see a thing that we're all seeing.
You know, I'm just like standing in front of him. He can't see past me. Then there's the wall. My good friend, the wall. That's the wall up there, brother. I mean, the rock and the wall, they go hand in hand. Yeah, you can't see nothing.
I can't.
Actually,
either.
along the
I'm
way,
not 5 feet tall. I'm under that.
along the way, could I have been? Oh, go on.
One of you. What were you trying to do along the way?
Just look for any rocks that would be suitable replacement for the rock's rock.
Because I straight up forgot to do
Ooh. Make a perception check for the path that you walked.
that. Straight up like just a giant rock.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. It's just
All right.
There's got to be vaguely round and grippable with 2 hands and about 10 pounds. Wow.
I think I find one.
You do, absolutely. You in fact find one and you think it's perfect, but then you realize that you would have to go through some murky bit of swamp and you spy leeches and you think, nah, I'll find another one. I am the unblinking. And you continue on another 10 minutes and sure enough, just off the side of the path, you see this nice big round rock. It's got a little bit of lichen and moss on it, but you pointed out to the rock, and man, this thing's grooved in just the right ways. You can really sink your hands into it. You heft it once or twice. It's the perfect weight. It feels like this would be perfect for dunkage.
Sweet. Amazing. Thank you, Zen. When do you think you can light it up?
Not today.
Not today. All right, I'll get back to you on that.
Right.
So a question I had. So my character apparently, had lost a little bit of the affection of my cat, but then I thought we kind of arrived at a little bit of a, solving things at the end. So is my cat with me or not?
I will let you make that choice because I don't really know
It's
your
an elven cat, a magical elven cat. DM, just in case you want to, if that
But
changes
I
your
spent
mind.
character points to get the same as anyone else could have.
Here's the deal. I don't know your relationship with your magical elven cat. I was not here to adjudicate that. I will let you choose. Sounds like you're kind of in an iffy spot. Does your magical elven cat mind wandering through the swamp and getting on a large boat is my only wonder.
It's a cat. It minds everything. So
Yeah.
minding something is not really an issue.
Because
Because
there's
it
not
would
a lot of
mind
cats I
having
know
to
of
sit in one
that
space.
like water.
Well,
Up to you.
Rob,
It's a big boat.
Up to you. You tell me.
Cats probably don't like boats.
Do they have ship's cats on ships to get rid of the rats?
that's a myth.
Probably not anymore.
They had one on the Nostromo.
Oh,
They did, but I don't think that was for rats. I think that was just,
That was for
company.
company.
That was for jump scares. You guys, I think we need the cat for jump scares.
and at just this moment, the cat goes whoop right in front of you. Okay.
Aristotle, you followed along in the shoreline just to jump scare us. That's dedication, Aristotle.
All right. So, with Cat newly in tow, the 6 of you basically arrive at this large city with the path going straight to this one entrance to the building. What do y'all do?
How did that mask turn out that I did say I was working on?
Go ahead. You don't have any skill,
Nope.
proficiency or anything that might help that out, right?
Nope.
Okay. So what you have is
Well, I mean, I've got a jumping.
jumping really helps in making Michael Jordan masks. Absolutely. So what you've created in your mind, you had the perfect image, Michael Jordan, tongue out, like mid dunk. It was perfect. And what you ended up, you start out really good is the inspiration that already gifted you of creation and art, really started you on the right path. But slowly your own lack of skill kind of worked its way in there, and what you ended up with was Jordan crying face.
Aww.
Perfect. I definitely think I nailed it. I think it's just the most awesome thing. Like,
If we got the cloth, I will have just made like a hood, and then just in like, I don't know, pencil or ink or something, just made little eye slits that are just like completely closed, as if my eyes were closed. And then
You
just
look
a smiling
you look like
face.
the squinting member of the KKK.
waiting for that.
All right.
Are we
Yeah,
just
apparently.
KKK hoods now? Is that what we're gonna do to get in?
Look, I think we all
Apparently we
agree
need
that the
some
hoods
masks.
were a good idea, but they could have been done a little bit better.
Yeah, why do you think
Next
I made
time, we'll all work on the hoods and do them right. For this time, let's just go without them, okay?
You know, it wouldn't surprise me if these
No.
inhabitants all are pixie dust addicts. And I mean, we have pixie dusts. We could sell them some, right?
No.
No.
But no,
Don't worry,
they seem to
Master
be.
Drug sales is legal.
Yeah,
I don't
No.
think
They
we
seem
can
to be the
trust
one
anyone
giving
who's
it out.
addicted to pixie dust or involved. I agree with the crazed killer. These people should not be... Thriller. These people should not be treated like the local miller. They cannot be trusted.
Well done, Neil.
Are you saying that millers can't be trusted?
No. These
Saying they all should be
creatures
busted?
these things ought not to be trusted like the... Unlike... I agree with the killer. We shouldn't trust these new creatures like we would a local miller.
Hey.
So now that you fixed it,
Well, anyway, I don't have a mask, and I certainly don't know anyone that I could borrow one from. So I guess I'll just go out here
Would you
and
like to
let
borrow
you
one from
guys
me?
all go in. No, I definitely
I have
don't.
extra.
I definitely don't know anybody who has a mask, so I'm just gonna go off, have fun in town. How I wish I had a mask, but I certainly don't.
But I have one right
And
here
I go
for you.
off, bye. Sorry, Artie. I do the president's not answering questions. What was that? Can't hear over the sound of the helicopter rotors.
sorry, I can't hear the sound of me waving goodbye.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And
Okay.
I go off into the woods.
All right. You go. You start wandering
While
off into
lifting up-
the swampy woods.
I go, I might not have a mask. And I lift up my La Sombra mask, but I know who does. And I'll change into La Sombra.
Okay. So I didn't actually expect any of you to have a mask. What does your La Sombra mask look like, and what is it made of?
It's like, like the fancy, like over the eyes mask. Basically, the whole La Sombra outfit is like the Man in Black from The Princess Bride.
Oh,
Dread Pirate
Right.
Roberts.
great.
basically.
Dread Pirate Roberts. Okay.
Is it because your name's Rob?
That's just coincidental. I'm definitely not the Great Pirate Roberts.
Okay.
That's a
Oh, well.
false rumor.
So the
Kill
five of you see Jack and/or Jill run into the woods, waving you off. And the rest of you standing around. One of you has a squinty mask. One of you has a crying Michael Jordan face.
I am Michael Jordan. And I've got the skills. Only one thing to do. Dunk from the free
Yeah.
throw line.
Zen keeps his KKK hood on.
It doesn't have to be a KKK hood. I was being tongue in cheek.
Artie has multiple different colors of fabrics that have been layered together, and then an eye hole cut out from them. So the eyes, like the top is maybe green, and there's like a little rim of yellow, and then a little rim of green, and a little rim of red and blue, and just kind of like a multicolored thing coming down to his. I don't know what color his eyes are. His brown eyes at the middle.
Okay,
Artie,
you're
I'm not
very
tripping
festive
up.
looking.
Yes, it just comes across here, and then the rest of it is just like a
Sure.
red thing covering the rest of his face, like a draping square.
Okay, very interesting. Okay.
Does anyone have spare cloth? I don't have a mask.
I pull out some bolts of cloth that I bought on the docks.
Thank you. I toss you like whatever, a piece of gold.
I'll take it.
Yeah. I cut 2 squares out of the cloth, turned them into bandanas, put one across my face and one tied up around my head.
Excellent.
Gangstering it, yo.
Yo. All right.
Okay, for me, I'm gonna have like a headband that's gonna cover my ears, so they cannot tell if I'm like a human or an elf based on the ears.
Okay. Sounds good.
And that's it.
Okay. So you guys cover yourselves in your assortment of cloth facial coverings. Lysandra, you come out of the woods?
Not yet.
Okay. So you standing together, newly adorned in fancy homemade hood masks. What do you do?
And I'm kind of hanging back, keeping an eye on them.
Sure. Okay.
So,
You just
what's on
stand
the other side of the
outside
wall?
city for the next hour?
Is there someone tall who can tell me what's on the other side of that wall?
Don't worry about it, Artie. You'll be fine.
Okay.
Well, why don't we just stroll in, right?
I can't think of a reason why not. So that is something we ought to do. We ought.
All right. So you stride down the rest of the pathway, leaving Jack and or Jill somewhere in the woods to fend for themselves. And you approach this archway with the words written across it. As you step inside, you find a low, dimly lit room made entirely of stone. It is quite blank, in fact, in here. There is a small, low table at which is sat a colorfully dressed in silk and satin, slightly androgynous person just by their body type. It's very hard to tell. They are reading some tome, and as you step in, they hear your footsteps on the wooden or the stone floor, and they close the book and look up at you. As they do that, you see their entire face is covered in a gorgeously lacquered mask of a large moth in flight. And this person in the moth mask looks up to you and speaks in a very kind of melodic voice and says, "Ah, welcome to Visage, travelers. Here no face may be uncovered. Please, And he kind of looks and he stops saying what was clearly rote and was part of his spiel, and kind of looks at the 5 of you and says, "I appreciate your attempt. It seems our customs are not unknown to you. But please," and he kind of waves his hand across the far wall, and you see 3 shelves. All of them have equally beautifully made lacquered masks. Each shelf has a different type. One is full of frog masks. One is full of masks of a locust, and one entirely of bats. He waves his hand at these. He says, "Please choose one of ours. You see, the mask is more than a covering. It is the part that you must play here in Visage. These are the parts we have available for visitors."
But this is the part I play.
"You seem to be very sad at heart. Perhaps you would like to play a different part while you are here."
I know what you're talking about. I'm a dunker, and that's what I do, is I dunk.
I can't
Is there
see. I
any-
can't see. Someone lift me up. Oh wee.
I'll just grab him by the back
As
of
you
the
say
shirt.
that, the moth person walks over to you and grips you by both arms, and you can tell in this moment that man or woman, it is very, very strong. And they lift you up and put you at like a level of the shelf height.
What were the listed masks again?
There are frogs on one, locusts on the other, and bats.
I take a frog, or I point to a frog and wave my hand at it.
She lifts you up so that you can select your mask.
I take a frog mask.
All right, and then they set you down.
Can you tell us what the roles of these creatures are?
The moth mask nods their head and says, "Indeed, pestilences, all of them. The frog is a guest, ignorant of our culture, blurts out their rudeness. The locust is a guest that seeks some profit from their stay. The bat is an ill-omened guest. For whom? Who am I to say?"
I think I picked the right one. This will be
Yeah, you
fun.
definitely did, Eddie.
Oh,
Okay, I'm taking the bat mask.
All right, you reach out and you take a mask of the bat, and the moth masked person just kind of takes a gentle step back away from you.
Hello, my name's Max.
I take the locust mask.
Okay, as you take the
I
locust
take the
mask, you
locust
see
mask,
that
put it on.
Okay, as you reach for the locust mask and you put it on, the moth mask kind of takes this bag at their waist and just kind of tightens the strings on it real good and puts a double knot in it. You put it on, and it's a very well. It's kind of a heavy mask. It's got a little strap that you can put it on, and it covers the entirety of your face. It has 2 eye holes and enough of a kind of slit by your mouth that you can speak through it, mostly unmuffled and can breathe just fine. You will find the same with the bat mask.
Once I have it on.
I'm sorry?
Once I have it on, I put the bag back on. I put the hood back on once I have the other mask on.
Next
The moth kind of shakes its head. It says, No. We must see what part you play."
Okay, I put the bag on and then the mask.
The moth seems to just nod their head at this.
Oh, I didn't take my little bandana mask off either. I put the bat mask on top of mine. I thought that was implied.
Excellent. So you're a bat? Excellent.
So you're telling me that I can't dunk?
What I'm saying, good sir, is that whatever part you play outside of here, you must play a part inside that may differ from what you expect.
No, dunking's universal. I don't think you understand. Like, dunking is universal. You don't just not dunk.
My good chap, I think you may dunk as a frog. And I hand him a frog mask as well.
Fine.
Frogs have hops, you know.
All right. So you are handed a frog mask to put on over your crying Michael Jordan. It's a very strange.
It's like I try and do that. How awkward is that? Like, is it like shaking around?
I mean, it kind of, right? You have some like cloth in between your face and a mask with a band, so it does have a little bit of wiggle.
I'll take the Michael Jackson mask off like the whole time and just like glaring at that person.
You glare angrily through your frog mask.
And then let's get that on, shove it in my backpack, and save that for later.
The moth nods its head at the 4 of you now adorned in masks. No, 5. And he or she opens the door at the back of this room that was very well like flat against the wall. It would have taken some amount of insight to see, but he or she pushes this open, and he leads the 5 of you into Visage. And you can see walking through the streets people that are wearing these masks of very different and varied species of animal, some of plants. And the moth kind of turns to you and says, "I shall be your guide through your first few hours here. Bear in mind the lessons you learn. There is no second chances in Visage." And then closes the door behind you. And I think that's a good place to take our second break.
See you guys on the other side. Bye-bye.